I'll say a few words about my eldest brother, Major Somnath Sharma, the first Param Vir Chakra of the Indian Army, killed in action on 3rd of November 1947 in defending the airport in Srinagar, in Kashmir. Now, he died at the age of 24. I was only 17 years old, and we were still in refugees. We had been moved out of Rawalpindi, where my father was posted. He was the colonel of the medical corps. And so we had gone to Kashmir when we heard that this is happening. Now, I'll say a few words about him in the way. He is a very strict disciplinarian. As the eldest son of the household, since my father was mostly on posting abroad, he is a military doctor, Som was the one who was to discipline all the remaining children. Total 5 children. He was the eldest, with Srinagar Nath Sharma, his younger brother, who retired as a lieutenant general, and 2 sisters married to army officers. Then last was me. Som used to say, every one of you will be fully disciplined and carry out your duty correctly, whatever your duty is. So right from the age of 6 or 7, it was drummed into my head by Som that first, discipline yourself, and number 2, you will carry out your duty, whatever is given to you, to a full effort, whether you like it or whether you don't like it. Duty and discipline. This is the 2 things he told us, which you will agree will be advantageous to anybody in his life. He was killed in 47, a very brave officer. He had done 2 years of campaign in Arakan with the British Indian Army at that time. His commanding officer was General Tamaya, who later became the army chief, also from Kumaon Regiment, 4th Kumaon. And Som really joined this regiment in 1942 January, when his mama, that is my mother's youngest brother, also in the same regiment, was killed in action in operations in Malaysia, Slim River campaign, where the Japanese attacked and the British Indian Army went into those jungles to try and protect at the Slim River, which is midway in Malaysia, and everyone was destroyed by the Japanese, because the British commanders never expected the Japanese to attack through those heavy forests, big tanks. And so these chaps really had no chance, and the whole battalion was written off. And Krishan Dutt Vasudeva, my mama, youngest brother of my mother, was killed in action. So Som said, I will join the same battalion. Badla lena hai. He fought the Arakan campaign, capturing of Akyab, etc., very famous battles. I won't go into that. Then he came, he had got a mention in dispatches where he saved his orderly from the Japanese fire. He was wounded. Our troops had to withdraw, but Som ran back when he found his batman was not able to come because he broken his leg. And he picked up the batman. He was a very strong fellow, much stronger than me. And he came running back with that batman on his back. Saved him. He got a mention in dispatches. Then came the Kashmir War. His arm was in plaster. He broken his arm, but he insisted on being the first company of the Kumaon Regiment to land in Kashmir, and went forward to Badgam, which is about 3 miles, that's about 5 kilometers from the Kashmir airfield, where the raiders had already occupied the village. He got suspicious because he thought they were Kashmiri, they were dressed like Kashmiri. Anyway, I won't go into that because everybody knows the story. He started digging trenches in a strong mound nearby. It was not a good defensive position, thick by zone with the village, and slowly he was surrounded. He had only about 60 or 70 or 80 men, and he was surrounded by about 600 or 700 of these tribals, led by Pakistani officers and Pakistani NCOs and JSOs, dressed in civil clothes, and they attacked from all sides. They had 3-inch mortars, if you understand what that is. And he had only a 2-inch mortar in the company plus 3 light machine guns. With that, he lasted for about an hour and a half in this battle. His people were getting killed, one after the other. And he was eventually filling magazines himself and running across this little mound to his LMGs to give them the filled magazines. And while he was doing that, filling the magazines, he and his batman, the shell of the 3-inch mortar landed there and killed him. His people carried on fighting for another 4 or 5 hours because of his example. When ammunition finished, 18 or 19 of them had to withdraw. This is the Battle of Badgam, for which Som gave his life. But the quality of leadership here was such that the example of the officer, there was only one officer in an infantry company in those days, it was a major, that motivated all his troops to fight to the last effort, last bit of ammunition. He said, in fact, to his brigade commander at Srinagar airport, I cannot allow these people to come forward to the airfield, because if they do, even one machine gun will stop the aircraft build-up of Indian Army. Dakotas were landing every 5 minutes in the Srinagar airfield, and he had to prevent that. That's why he said, I must stand here. And he killed about 500 or 600 of those people. They are tribals. They never raided Kashmir for the sake of getting killed. Their aim was to loot and to rape and to take money away from Kashmir. And when they found themselves dying one after the other in this defense, they lost heart and they withdrew from there. So with the result, there was no further attack on the Kashmir airfield, and we were able to hold that airfield thanks to him, and therefore he is really the savior of Kashmir. Because if that airfield had come under fire by the tribals, we could not, Indian Army would not have been able to land. That's the story of Somnath.